I got the bud down by the creek, you know what I'm saying, buddies? What's up, my dudes? 2023 Bud's Creek, little track review here for MX vs. ATV Legends, alright? So just about every time I get into this game nowadays, there's like a new update for the game, and there's no exception here. Graphically, the game looks totally different. I haven't even looked at patch notes, but the bike feels different and shit too, so might be something to take a look at if you're getting back into this game here, alright? But yeah, we're just gonna try to mosey our little YZ4 fatty around the track, see what we can see, you know what I'm saying? Got some pre-made right in there, alright. Bud's Creek, always a super tight, damn near like a Supercross style track. Probably the tightest national that there is. That's a triple okay. Saw some dudes do that in the real life race. That was kind of funny. Nice inside pre-made rut there. You probably hop up over some of this shit. Go a lot faster than I'm going. This is my second lap ever on the track, so we are certainly figuring it out as we go along here, you know what I mean? What is this, a triple? Yeah. Interesting to see the differences between the way they'll make certain like jumps or sections depending on what kind of motocross game you're playing. Like that triple before there on the MX Simulator 2023 Bud's Creek, it was way sharper. Like the landing was way sharper than that was right there. This does have a lot more like pre-made on it though, like roughness, ruts, like bigger berms, little tight little, that feels a little tighter right through there than I would think it would be in real life. Whoa, accidental little triple down to the thing there. Like these rollers, these are kind of crazy. I don't know, I don't know how much the track really looks exactly like that. But, you know, there's that nice little pond area that's typically like aqua blue. I don't think that's not the way the water is on here or the MX Simulator track, if I'm not mistaken. They need to bring back aqua blue water on Bud's Creek, dog. Just saying. We'll sign a petition, we'll get that shit done, dude. Okay? I don't know, it's got some decent little jumps on it. Kind of a little jumpy little motocross track. Some of the corners are kind of weird, but some of the sections feel pretty decent. Like, this right here feels like it's long enough, you know what I mean? But some of the sections don't really feel like scaling-wise like they quite fit in. This right through here is okay. Like up to Henry Hill, you know? All this right here is like, alright. But then you start getting around like, I'd say like right about here, and all of a sudden the track's like cutting kind of weird and tight. This section right here just doesn't feel long enough to me. Like straight up. The fact you can just like easily triple into that's kind of weird. I didn't feel like they were doing that at all on the real life track. And the rollers weren't really like super big like that either. I mean, they were decent, but they were more like actually rolling through them, not like, you know, double, triple or some shit like you're actually on a Supercross track, you know what I mean? Little bit of a pre-made rut right there. Might be able to triple land down right that little thing right there. Maybe. I don't know, dudes. You know what I'm saying? Y'all boys been drinking that tea or what, dog? If you haven't been, then it's totally understandable why you've been failing at life, you know? Just is what it is, man. I try to give you all the keys, all the secrets, you know? Gotta chug that tea, dog. Alright. So, little kind of scrub might be able to shave off some time in these areas, but notorious tight section right here. Certainly gonna have to be probably getting on the brakes if you're really cooking it through here, really turning, angling properly. You have to know the track a little better than I do, but roughness ain't too crazy. But yeah, the bike feels different just even from the last time that I played this game, which was not like super far back there. And the graphics just look different. It's almost like there's like some sort of like a filter on it or something kind of vibe going on here. I don't really know exactly, but you know, some of that may be patched and fixed later. Some of it, I don't know. Just seems to be this constant changing sort of game here with Legends, which, you know, with the state that it came out in, I mean, it's understandable that it's having to change that much. You know what I mean? But yeah, tripling in right here is just kind of silly. I mean, it's cool, but I think that's just because, like, if you don't build those areas long enough, then it creates where you can start hitting certain jumps that you wouldn't normally hit. But, you know, when they're making these replica tracks, they've got to, like, make the finish line fit with the start straight, and that's got to fit with the width of the jump and the way. It gets to a point where you're kind of limited by the physics of the game. You know, you're kind of, when you're making a replica track, all you can do is, you know, try to make it as close to the real life shit as you can, but like certain elements of it, and you can make certain things bigger scaling, but there are certain things that you can't make bigger scaling, really. Like, for instance, the start line area. You know, it's kind of hard to just magically, like, make that a lot bigger or smaller or whatever, but you can make, like, certain corners bigger to make it work better for the game. You can make certain jumps bigger or smaller, but, you know, it's tricky because then you got to get it all to fit together to still be, like, you know, somewhat resembling that real-life kind of track. That double right there is pretty fun. But yeah, like, I mean, overall, could some of these jumps have been slightly bigger? Maybe, you know, just maybe some of these areas done just a little better. I mean, but overall, I'm not too mad about this one. This one's all right to me. This one doesn't feel like just really stupidly off or really stupidly too small of scaling. Probably part of what's helping it here is the fact that I feel like Budds Creek is just kind of known for this. It's kind of known for being a tight, smaller, you know, scaling, not as big, high speed kind of sections type track. So that's probably helping that vibe with it. You know, you don't necessarily want like a red bud to exactly feel like this right here or something like that. You know what I mean? Got a big ass berm right here, dog. Definitely get to scrubbing on some of this shit for show. Little shadow area right here. Yeah, I don't know if some of these, that is something I'm noticing is a little bit different from this and like the real life track. There are certain areas that don't necessarily feel like they have the right kind of like elevation change. That's something you'll notice in certain areas. Of course, I've never rode on the real life Budds Creek track, so you know it's kind of all up for interpretation. But I'm just saying, with all the different moto games that I've played and the hundreds of different, what it feels like hundreds of different, you know, Budds Creek fucking replicas in these games. I'm just saying, you start to get even though you might not have rode that track in real life, when you played so many different, you know, replicas of it in the different games, like MX Sim, Reflex, you know, MX Bikes, Legends, like the list just goes on and on and on, and multiple different years of it in the different games and shit, you start to get this sort of map in your head. You start to get this sort of vibe and feeling in your head of that real life national, even though you've never actually rode on it in real life. You start to get the feel for how much the elevation should pitch you in this one area of the track, and it may not seem like you'd get to that point with it, but you do. You definitely do get to like a bit of a feel for the real life vibe of the track just from how many different variations of it you rode on in a video game. Of course, that's never going to be exactly like riding in real life, and I'm not saying that it is. I'm just saying you do get a somewhat of a consistent kind of, you know, census between all the different tracks in a sense, where you can kind of figure out what it probably on average more so kind of is supposed to be built like, or how certain sections are supposed to feel, like Luraco's Leap, for instance, you know. You kind of feel how difficult it feels in most games, how much it leaps you up in the air in most dirt bike games, and if it doesn't do that as much in one of the different games on a track, then see, that means that track probably wasn't exactly built like it probably should have been, you know? And I use that sort of guide and gauge whenever I'm riding on any of these Lucas Oil Pro Motocross, you know, replica tracks, right? Is it even Lucas Oil anymore? Shit, I don't even know, boys. But, yeah, so overall, this track's not too bad. I mean, for it being Budds Creek and the tightness, I feel like it kind of fits this track more so, honestly. So this one I'm probably going to give somewhere like a... oh, by the way, there is the rain mode you can ride on with this track right away, too. Definitely get to scrubbing, doing some crazy shit. I could see some fast laps looking really cool on this track, you know, like hopping some wild-ass shit, just holding the gas down type shit. I really haven't even, like, broke into that here, but I certainly did on sim a little bit, and I know it's fun on, like, a Budds Creek kind of track. There's little spots you can really over-jump, little fun little, you know, kind of take you to that next level kind of area on Budds Creek. In combination with the really tight corners and being able to flow through the tightness, you know. But, yeah, man, that's Budds Creek on MX vs. ATV Legends. Fancy boy to Papa, boys. I'm going to give the track a solid 8 out of 10. Could have been a 9 out of 10 had it had the aqua blue water instead of the shit brown water, you know what I mean? Difficulty, you're probably looking at medium on this track. So either way, appreciate you guys watching all the videos. I'll see you boys on that next one later, dude.